inviting people into a space where we're going to hold this story.
Love your art. Did you know a lot of the riders were actually women wearing beards?
Yes.
Which gives me such like Monty Python vibes. It's amazing.
Oh. What if Muppets did the Easter story?
If that's all we're looking for, that's what we're going to find. Yeah.
I'm looking for pie.
Welcome to the charity shop of podcasts and live streams. Amongst the random artifacts, clothing and partial collections throughout the haberdashery of charitable keepsakes, there is a wealth of story and conversation, which will hopefully find worth and value to those willing to spend a few moments to forage and find something of worth. This is Faith and Geekery, and my name is Mark, and this is...
Jen. I'm Jen. I'm also here. And this is...
Hi, I'm Andy.
And following the off, folks, apologies that I'm really croaky. I am fighting a bit of a chest infection, but it is just affecting my audio, and I hope it won't be affecting anything else. But
you're like Phoebe on
us.
Friends. You should sing a song because it's probably the moment that you're going to be discovered, just like Phoebe on Friends. This is the moment. Sing us something good.
You need a Lee Marvin moment.
Yes.
Who is that?
He's saying, "I was born under a wandering star," which you can Google later.
Yeah. I was born under a wandering star.
Yeah,
it's happening. It's happening.
Yeah. I have been known to record things whilst I've been this kind of low in the voice.
Yeah. You should do the voiceover for Epoch. You should.
But
so,
octave lower.
I went down to Luton to record with Jubilati Hymns. They were doing a recording session, and I took my 18-year-old because he's got an incredibly low voice. And
nice.
They were like, "We can hear you putting those notes in, but they're in tune, so they're staying."
Very cool.
Very good. And so, welcome, folks. We tend to kind of start off with what kind of geekiness that we have been up to recently. And so I guess that is a question for people here in our digital studio, as well as those at home or listening at another time. Of course, you can comment if you are listening live. Equally, you can kind of join in the banter conversation on our Discord or other places that you might find us on social media. But I'm hopefully giving Jen and Andy a couple of moments to think about the question of what geekiness have we been up to since we last met.
I came prepped. I came knowing that this was going to be a question and had thought about what I'm going to say. So, you impressed? You impressed?
Have you remembered
Validate
that it's
me.
a question?
I remembered it was a question, and I remembered that I was going to have to. So the thing I've been most geeking out about this week is I've had my BSL level 1 second of 3 exams, and I don't know if geeking out is the right word rather than expiring of fear or more like that, but it was brilliant. I mean, it wasn't, it was awful. Like, it was really scary, but it was a lot of fun. Scary but good.
And how did it go? Do you know if you passed or anything, or do you find out?
I definitely don't know if I
weeks?
passed. I find out, presumably in a good few weeks' time, and they have to record it. So I don't know if at any point you have to watch it back, which would be awful. But it wasn't so bad that I left the room with anybody, sobbing, crying, or didn't offend anybody. So, win. Lots of wins there, definitely. Yeah. Fantastic. What about you, Andy? What have you been up to?
So my regular Dungeons and Dragons campaign met on Sunday night, and we've just leveled up. So my cleric now has Fireball,
Nice.
I dispatched an enemy in absolutely short order and accidentally set the forest on fire and had to apologise to the nearby druid who runs it.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
What did you do to level up? Had you faced some terrible beastie?
We're working through a campaign. We've got 8-9 sessions in the bag. It's being DM'd by an old mate of mine, and we're meeting every couple of weeks on a Sunday night. And it's brilliant because I've never played Dungeons and Dragons before. So
brand new.
I've done a one shot, but I've never done a campaign. And so we've gone right from level 1, and we've been working, and we've just reached a milestone and leveled up. And I was like, oh, I get fireball.
Hello, fireball hands.
Fantastic. This is brilliant. And then, of course, the very first
cool.
encounter, we're fighting some kind of animated tree things. I'm like, they sound flammable.
Yes, set them on fire.
Yeah, unfortunately,
I love it.
Every tree within a 20-foot radius
will be gone. Yeah, that's the thing with fireball is you can't really. It reminds me of is it Kill Squad? Which one is it? The Warhammer one where anyway there's somebody in that who can set, but it sets everything on fire, including your own kill team, including your own squad.
I missed all of us.
Is it Kill Squad?
I did miss the rest of the party. In my
Good.
defense.
Well, I was going to say, it's always fireball is notorious for taking out people and things and anything, you know,
Everybody.
and whether you've calculated it properly as well. So
Scorched
it's a fun one.
Today, I've just uploaded my last of the 12 months of 12 Song Challenge, which is run by Resound Worship, which is part of Jubilati. And they do a 12-month program where you pay a small fee and you sign up and you join an online community, and they give you a prompt and you write a song. So this month's was Easter and Holy Week.
Nice.
Very tempted to go with like Sunday, Monday, holy days, Tuesday, Wednesday, no. But the idea is you write something for the congregation. So I've done a basic start and published that on the shared space, and now I'm waiting for people to comment and tell me what I did wrong. So yeah, it's good.
I'm sure they'll let you know. They'll let you know with haste. Yes. But let's go back to D&D. What's your characters called? What's their name? What are they called?
My character is Brother Joseph.
Brother Joseph,
Nice.
the cleric. I like it.
Yes.
Very good. Did you say the race? Did I missed it?
Human. Just a
Human.
standard human cleric.
Discovering the fireball of his hand.
Light domain. It's just basically pyromania in a box. It's great.
Right. What's not to love? That's brilliant. Mark, what have you been up to? Have you said?
I have been watching Monarch, the first episode of series 2 on Apple TV, which is Kurt Russell and his son playing kind of, it's like a Godzilla and kind of Monarch sea creature, like all various kind of creatures and otherwise, so that it's returned for its second series, I think, which is really exciting. The first one has dropped. I've also watched the latest Harlan Coben, which I think dropped earlier on this year. Which have you come across Harlan Coben?
No.
It's like
Nope.
It's murder mystery. It's on Netflix, and there's about 5 or 6 of them. And Harlan Coben kind of is this brilliant kind of writer, and he basically does these kind of twisty-turny murder mysteries. And his latest muse, I believe, is James Nesbitt, because James Nesbitt appears in pretty much all of them. And you basically, for the first episode, you just sat there going, is James Nesbitt goody, baddie? Is he, what's the word? Chaste or kind of severely traumatized? Or is he a policeman, ex-policeman, or mafia? And I think basically all that covers every single kind of role he is likely to occupy, but you just don't know with which kind of. And they're usually about like an 8-parter. And it has got some nice twists and turns, and you're going, oh well, obviously they're guilty, obviously they're bad, and then you go,
wait,
so
I love that.
So Runaway is the latest one, and that is kind of on the surface, a daughter has gone missing during a time of a murder. It also stars Minnie Driver, who spends.
I love Minnie Driver.
Well, she spends a lot of the series on a hospital bed, which I won't go into any more detail. Because she's out of action. But it again is very twisty turny, and
sounds good.
Yeah, I won't.
That
give any
sounds
more details
really
away.
intense.
Yeah, well, it is. It's not like
amazing. No. Speaking of amazing things on the TV, I caught up with Small Profits and I'm now obsessed and can't believe we've got to wait so long for the next series. What a cliffhanger to end
Absolutely.
on. Oh my gosh, absolutely loved
Absolutely.
it. Thought it was brilliant. Like proper magical. Just
Have you
loved
seen
it.
the new Star Trek?
No.
There's a new Star Trek series out about basically they're re-establishing the Starfleet Academy back on Earth, but the ship is the Academy,
Oh.
so it can dock in San Francisco to be the Academy buildings, or it can take off and be a mobile learning base for them to do stuff, and it's just basically
Ah,
used to run through a whole load of really cool characters from previous seasons. So Rob
nice.
Picardo's back as the Doctor. The one of the senior staff is a Trill who is joined to the Dax symbiont and therefore knows the history of Deep Space Nine. They've got
Nice.
Tilly from Ensign Tilly from Discovery is now
Cool.
a lecturer there, and she's doing stuff. There's so many callbacks, and Tig Notaro is in it as well. So it's just awesome.
That sounds awesome.
A bit like Lower Decks, which actually is prefiguring what I'll probably talk about later. There's this kind of in-joke culture, this nod and respect to what has gone before, but they handle it really lightly. It's done so beautifully.
Yeah. And with love by the sounds of it, that sounds amazing. It reminds me a little bit of Finding Nemo, the way that
Yes,
Mr. Ray can just swim about and sing songs, and I'm presuming there's a lot of crossover between Finding Nemo and the new Star Trek. Yeah.
not as much as you'd want, but yeah, probably.
Yeah, there should be. There should be more. Different franchise.
Nobody has commented, so I think at this point we shall move on to the news.
This is the Faith in Geekery News, broadcast to your home and around the world.
Tonight we've just got a few slides. First of all, it's about kind of things being confirmed and kind of being lined up. So if you're kind of with us on our Discord, you'll have heard most of this stuff. But Matt Bainton has confirmed, and various sources have now confirmed, that Ghosts is kind of back for a film. So it's called The Possession of Button House. So we don't exactly know what that's going to entail, whether it's got the original... I'll say the original resident host.
It's the OG cast.
Is it the lady who has knocked her head and otherwise? Is she definitely going to be back for it?
It's the whole OG cast are in it. That's what it said on the BBC
fantastic.
yesterday. We got very excited in our house.
That's really awesome.
I just didn't know if they wrapped it up too much in the series and then kind of did the flashbacks.
Well, apparently there's bits that they're going to fill in. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know which bits, because she's not going to be old. Like, I think it's,
No. So it's going to be like them returning, realising that actually there's still money in that horse.
Quite literally, yeah.
More news. Riddick is on track to be another film. What am I saying? He's confirmed for one more outing for returning back to his home planet. Henry Cavill leads the action of Voltron, and I think they're going to go for a theatrical release rather than just onto Prime. There's also the news regarding the Lord of the Rings game that's going to have a wider, bigger map than Grand Theft Auto, and rivaling Grand Theft Auto 5 and rivaling Grand Theft Auto 6. So that's going to be an open world adventure. So I wonder how well that's going to go. Also, I'm sure a lot of our kind of original community and fans are rather excited that Nathan Fillion of Firefly has been doing the rounds on social media, knocking on various people's door of the original cast.
Are you
brilliant.
kidding me?
No, I'm not. And he goes to the door and he's like,
gosh.
It's happening. And they're like, is it really? It's like, it's happening. And that's it. And they're going to move on. And that's it.
Unless it's an April Fool's thing.
Well, there's been speculation whether it's about the kind of the thingy heads, what are they called? Pop heads or otherwise. But I think that's been disproved. I think it genuinely is.
How could it be Firefly? How could they do that?
Well, the fans. I mean, it has kind of, and maybe Nathan Fillion and others have saved up enough money from their various kind of rookie shows and
Maybe
otherwise to do it themselves.
do it as a
Also,
yeah, because what's his
Yeah, go on.
name is I can't remember his name now, but he is not somebody they want to be working with at the moment, right?
Joss
Help me
Whedon.
out. Yes, thank you. Hasn't
Oh,
Joss
yeah.
Whedon gone through a whole, he's
Joss
been cancelled?
Whedon has trouble attached to his name, but also
Okay.
you've got things like, I mean, the late Ron Glass. I mean, obviously Shepherd Booker's killed in the film, so I'm hoping that's not a spoiler. It's been out long enough. But I just looked at the trailer and went, "Ooh, shiny!"
Oh, that's very exciting.
There's a trailer.
Well, just that they've started to stitch together the door knocks.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay,
They're very
okay.
good. Go and search for them. They're fun.
Okay.
Other thing to say is that Legend of the Vox Machina season 4 has got a release date of June. So that would be good for the next season of those interested in that.
Cool.
Just other random news. I'd say that Pokemon has celebrated its 30th anniversary, so it's got Generation 10 release, and so Tim Annan has shared about the Pokemon Winds and Waves and some pictures here of some cute little adorable little Pokemon, but I can't even vaguely try to label them. I will fail abysmally. But then just two other pieces of news, and I'll finish with the saddest at the end. But Pope Leo has urged priests to stop using AI to write sermons. I just, as someone who writes sermons, I thought that was kind of a given. Not to
Don't use AI. Just don't.
But
Just write your own sermons.
Okay, no. So I can see why you'd think a sermon should not be written by AI, but if you're a really busy priest and you've got some ideas and you've got the lectionary in front of you and you know kind of where you want to go, sticking that prompt into AI and saying keep it to so many words is a really quick way to get a 15-minute sermon that isn't going to turn into a 25-minute sermon, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. It is a shortcut to naffness. It is true.
For manufacturing some kind of legible sermon that sounds right, yes.
Yeah, I mean, if I go write me a sermon on the 23rd Psalm, I'm expecting AI to be rubbish. But if I actually put in the references that I want, the translation that I want to use, and some of the talking points that I want to bring up, to write me a first draft, that's not necessarily a bad thing, surely.
But
I think we could spend a long time talking about this, but AI wouldn't know context. AI wouldn't know what the Spirit was hoping to do within that service, or indeed,
to what point to dwell on and to return back to. But I think that's maybe
or our
subject
own learning, our own moving on. Yes,
for another week. Because
it's
actually,
a good
that
one.
does sound as if it is a good one.
Realising I'm picking folk with two professional preachers.
Well, no.
You are both very busy.
I know what you mean. But I feel as if I want to retort, but then at the same time, I want to move on.
Move on. Come back to it, though. It's a brilliant one.
I hear what you're saying, Andy, and I think some of the AI tools are good at kind of the process of things.
Yes,
but not necessarily the creative side, and as in to say, I still like the creative influence as I write stuff, and also the space for God to be at work in my creativity and the way that I emphasize things. And sometimes that even surprises me. It often surprises me. But anyway, so the Pope has urged priests not to do that. So that is straight from Rome. But finally, and this is kind of provoked our theme for this evening, the Red Dwarf co-creator Rob Grant has passed away, which is rather sad. But that has kind of provoked our kind of conversation. Though that being said, Andy, you had actually shared about this amongst other interests. And so you had already kind of laid the foundation for that.
Absolutely.
So we've adjusted for that. So that, folks, is...
This is the Faith in Geekery News, broadcast to your home and around the world.
And always at this time, we have a quiz. Are we ready with paper or with whatever means to kind of put things together?
Ready to go.
Yeah, jolly good. I'm really glad that you are. If not, it'll be really awkward next few moments.
Yeah, can you
No.
just wait silently for 3 minutes? Thank you.
Although, could have done an AI quiz.
Oh,
That would have saved things. Right. If you're sitting or whatevering, carefully, let us begin. Question. Oh, in fact, what am I doing? I should be doing
I got questions. The quiz.
I always
we could have
forget
just done that
Questions.
live though. We could have just had a whole live
Really
rendition of
not.
that.
Really not.
I
That would have
had
been
as part of my
amazing.
intro to have mentioned that you are a regular in our community and a regular on the podcast, because that is indeed your voice singing that,
It is.
isn't it, Andy? So we
And-
really do
and-
appreciate that.
And percussion, I want to say, but that's not right. Like,
No,
accompaniments,
it's all loops.
loops. I don't know what that means, but it sounds good.
But it is appreciated. So, question number 1. On this day, the 3rd of March, in I think it's the year 2001, didn't write that down, the Stereophonics were forced to change the title of their new album because the vehicle manufacturer's brand name was copyrighted. So instead, they named their album Just Enough Education to Perform. What was the original album called? I'm going to say this again. I think it was in the year 2000. On this day, the 3rd of March 2001, the Stereophonics were forced to change the title of their new album because the vehicle manufacturer's brand name was copyrighted. So instead, they named their album Just Enough Education to Perform. What was the original album called? I'm going to leave it for a moment and then I'm going to move on. It might not be as difficult as what you think. Question number 2. What is the hobby gongoozling or to gongoozle? What is the hobby gongoozling or to gongoozle? I love it because it's a fantastic name. word.
The
Such a
first
good
time
name.
ever, I think I'm going to score a point. I might actually
Yes.
score a point. in this
Oh,
quiz.
come on, Andy.
Question number 3. This is for 2 points. Earlier this week, the UK's 2026 Eurovision entry released their song title. Can you name the artist and the title?
No.
So I'll say that again. Earlier this week, the UK's 2026 Eurovision entry released their song title. Can you name the artist and the title? Question number 4. Your silence is worrying me. Question number 4. With the Wayans brothers back at the helm of Scary Movie franchise, what number film is set to be released on the 12th of June?
Oh, gosh.
Scary Movie, what? So with the Wayans brothers back at the
1002.
helm of the Scary Movie franchise, what number film is set to be released on the 12th of June? Scary Movie, what? It is the next new number in the franchise. It isn't like a ridiculous
Nothing
one.
fancy. Okay.
They're not counting like Windows editions.
No.
Yeah.
or operating system of like Suave or Mountain Lion. Anyway, question number 5. What is the universal written language throughout Red Dwarf, other than English, of course? So what is the universal written language throughout Red Dwarf, other than English?
Andy's face is blank, and it is always a thing when we ask the person who's come on to talk about their favourite thing to answer a question in the quiz, because then suddenly the pressure is on in a very particular way. Don't worry if you don't know it, though.
I'm not worried. I
Good.
don't know it, but I'm not
Oh,
worried
good.
about
I'm
it.
glad you're not worried. Join in
need-
with me not knowing it.
Do we need any of these questions? Ree?
If you could just tell me the answer secretly, that'd be really helpful. Yeah.
No, I'm comfortable in my ignorance. It's fine.
Yeah,
That's fine.
nothing is
Okay.
going to help me know these.
So question number 1, the album that Stereophonics had to rename, had to be renamed to Just Enough Education to Perform, should have been or was originally Jeep. Just Enough Education to Perform. The kind of the answer was in the title. Apologies. Question number 2, gongoozling is the leisurely, usually idle activity of watching canal boats, locks, and water activity.
Did you know that?
Yep.
That's
Oh,
fantastic.
I love that that's a hobby and that's its name.
Well, and that's
is
why I liked it.
brilliant.
I love the fancy name. It just feels nice, and then also
I am
the hobby itself.
asking everybody who is listening, if you are a gongoozler, please can you come and talk to us on Faith and Geekery, because that sounds amazing.
Answer number 3 regarding the UK's 2026 Eurovision entry. The artist is known as Look Mum No Computer. So that's Look Mum No Computer. And the song title is Eins, zwei, drei, which is 1, 2, 3 in German.
In German.
No, I'd heard the band name.
I have heard of, I've heard of those, yeah.
Question number 4 is Scary Movie 6.
I wrote 6 and I crossed it out. Can I pretend I didn't? That was the first one I wrote, and then I wrote 13 and then 15. But I'm going to go back to 6.
I thought
did
7,
write
but I'm
6
wrong,
first.
clearly.
6, 7.
6, 7. Oh, someone's written someone in the comments. Oh, Purple Plushies put Eins, zwei, drei, Tansy. Oh, is it got that bit as well?
Oh.
Apologies, I didn't realise that. But thank you, Purple Plushie, for correcting me.
What is Tansy then? 1, 2, 3.
I don't know.
Okay, German.
I only gather these things. I don't actually read them. What is universal written language throughout Red Dwarf?
Is that the UK's? Is that what?
Yeah.
It's the UK. Okay, it's just because it's in German. Are we just we're just placating the European audience? I'm guessing. Is that what we've gone with?
Well,
with that
I
one,
feel as if they can't do any worse than what they've done in the past. And I think leaning in. I've always said that we need to lean into the Eurovision stuff, and so this is sounding quite positive for the first time.
Yeah, well, that's good.
The final question of the quiz is all about the universal written language for Red Dwarf. The answer is Esperanto.
Oh, of course it is. That's the whole joke, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, I feel stupid now. That's even more stupid than before.
I think it's one of those things of if it's just there in your mind. Because I was like, everyone in the week, I was like, ha ha ha. Oh no, sorry, Purple Plushies, but it's not a correction. It was reference to the Ukrainian entry several years ago with the singer dressed like a disco ball.
Oh,
you might have to go and find that and
go and Google that. Okay,
it's fantastic.
Thanks, Purple Plushie.
That is the end of the quiz, and it kind of segues us into talking about Red Dwarf. Andy, how did you kind of come across this, or where would you like to begin in the kind of...
So, the writers of Red Dwarf are not science fiction writers, and it's really important to understand that. So, forgive me while I kind of geek in a row. Grant Naylor set themselves up at Grant Naylor as a pseudonym when they were writing. They'd done sketches, they'd done stuff that was sci-fi adjacent, but they're also massive consumers of culture and media. So when you watch Red Dwarf, you can see a lot of references to other things. They're really cleverly weaving in these ideas. And basically, they've written a sitcom. Red Dwarf is not a sci-fi show, it's a sitcom. And it's set in almost this classical Greek comedy idea of each episode is a thing. It happens within a short space of time. Not literally 24 hours like you'd expect with Greek comedy, but, that kind of idea. A location which is limited in scope. Nobody dies, really. Very few people actually die in Red Dwarf, unless they're bad guys. The good people always thrive. Bad people are always punished. So it's feel good, and it's brilliant. And when they break those rules, they do so because they want to. And that's the other thing I love about Red Dwarf is it doesn't take itself too seriously. You cannot have, although I suppose you could, but it's difficult to have a fandom of Red Dwarf who are obsessed with canon and detail and continuity, because actually it's been on and off and on and off and on and off again and off again and on. And Dave sponsored the last couple of seasons. It's been with various producers, various people writing. Grant and Naylor didn't always write together. But what they've maintained is this kind of quintessentially British comedy. It didn't work in the States. They did do a United States version, which famously didn't have as diverse a cast and was quietly referred to behind the scenes as White Dwarf. But it's like, yeah, I know. But just the combination, and when you realise that actually, like, Dave Lister's played by the guy who was originally approached to play the Cat. The comedian Norman, what's his name, who plays Holly, kind of was reading in for bits and pieces, and they didn't know exactly what they were doing. Norman Lovett, that's it. Thank you. And they made some really bold, in my opinion, decisions about how they wanted this show to run. There are no aliens in Red Dwarf.
No.
There kind of are. There's flora and fauna. There's the despair squid. There's genetically engineered life forms. There's simulants who look like other things that they're not. But most of the ills come from human beings being bad at being human, evil holograms, and also an entire race of beings evolved from Frankenstein, Dave's cat. So if you've not watched Red Dwarf before, the premise of Red Dwarf is really simple. Aboard a mining ship called Red Dwarf, which is hilarious because obviously it's huge and it's painted red, Dave Lister gets caught smuggling a cat on board, which is completely against regulations. He won't give up the cat, so he's sentenced to suspended animation and suspension of pay. It's entirely a commercial thing. While he's in suspended animation, a disaster befalls the ship. All the crew are killed. The computer, realizing that it can't release Dave without killing him, keeps him in suspended animation until the danger is past, and that takes 3 million years.
Actual spoiler.
But I think it's all summed up. It's all summed up within the first episode.
That's in the first.
It is. That
10,
happens within the
minutes of
first.
episode.
Yeah.
And everything that follows from there is a result of Dave Lister being the last human being in the universe, and his bunkmate Rimmer, who he hates and who is his immediate superior. Holly, the computer, decides this is the best person to bring back as a hologram to keep Dave sane. And you've got this cat that's evolved from Frankenstein. And then after a couple of seasons, there's a fourth member of the cast joins a mechanoid called Crichton. And basically that's the core cast. And it's just genius in the way that it works.
And I really like the fact that you've introduced it in such a way about the sitcom, because there are certain scenes that you could just kind of, not directly, but kind of copy and paste into Porridge or into other kind of sitcoms of where it's that kind of human interactions with characters that wind each other up slightly, but they're in that position and that place for whatever reason. And I also like your comparison there with that kind of Greek comedy of it kind of always kind of works itself out. And you kind of, even if it's not bad, but like if it's the more kind of compromisable or the gitty nature of somebody, they'll get their comeuppance.
Yes.
And or you'll kind of have that almost, I mean, they don't look at the camera, but you can almost see them kind of going, we know what's happening. You know, and it plays off.
Who was the alien that Lister kissed? Because it looked like a human, but then it definitely wasn't a human because they were a big squishy blob.
I think that's a simulant. But he
that
does.
Was a simulant.
The thing is, there's Gelfs, genetically engineered life forms, which are various different kinds of organism. And then, so
they have
the genius.
Is it an emo hawk?
Emo hawk. Thank you. Yes, it is. There's polymorph. There's
really testing
and this is what I love about this, is that you don't need to actually know too much of the precise details of every little thing for something to surface. And one of the things I'm most proud of as a parent is my kids went to school able to quote Red Dwarf wholesale.
Nice.
To their primary school teachers.
Nice.
And it's just like so much in British comedy, you can do really, really clever things and really, really deep things, but because everybody's laughing and it's in front of a studio audience, most people don't realise until the moment has passed. And then you can kind of, so for example, keeping up appearances, I can't watch. I have a real aversion to seeing somebody that embarrassed or that put out. I find it really but or the royal family, you know, or Gavin and Stacey. There's moments there which are just pure comedy, and that's all they're there for. But then there's other things that just cut a little bit deeper. And one of the reasons I love Red Dwarf was it wasn't afraid to explore faith.
Mm. Mm.
I mean, right from the very beginning, it explored the nature of faith and religion. So I'm going to deliver a few spoilers here. If you haven't watched Red Dwarf and you want to start from the beginning, I'm telling you now, I'm going to give away some of the stuff from season 1. So
can I just say hello to
Go on.
Lydia, and then I'm also
Hello,
going
Hey,
to
Lydia. Hey.
actual spoilers, and then
Yes.
I'll pull your
Okay.
string and leave you to say.
So the cat is descended from Frankenstein, and right at the beginning, when you meet the cat, you think that that's the only animal descended from Frankenstein on the ship. That's a very reasonable assumption. It quickly becomes apparent in the episode "Waiting for God," which is a deliberate nod to Waiting for Godot, that actually there is a second cat aboard, and it's an elderly priest who has faithfully kept the religion of the cats. Now, in 3 million years, the cats have developed a religion based on a holy book left to them, understanding the actions of Cloister the Stupid. And Cloister the Stupid is going to lead them to Fushal. Cloister the Stupid is actually Lister. Fushal is actually Fiji. He'd been telling Frankenstein the cat about how he was going to get his money together, and he and Frankenstein were going to Fiji, and they were going to open a little bar, and it was going to be fine, right? And this entire religion has developed from it. So you've got this funny sense in which and it's genuinely heartbreaking. The priest is about to die. He doesn't believe in Cloister anymore. He wants the cat to burn his sacred hat, and Lister steps in and says, "Listen, I am Cloister. The priest is deaf and blind and elderly, so he can get away with this." He said, You haven't. Here's a hat. You're absolutely fine. This is okay." And just the idea of how you can develop a system of thinking and a system of belief from observation, and that it be over 3 million years so far removed. And it's really clever. It plays on that whole thing that we don't see so well in other genres. So I'm not going to criticize Tolkien because he's a big lad and he knows what he's talking about. But I will criticize George R.R. Martin. You've got Game of Thrones, where the same family has served as bannermen for 1,000 years. Really? Well, in 1,000 years, we've gone from William the Conqueror to spaceflight. Really, has nothing changed technologically or sociologically in 1,000 years in that world. But Red Dwarf allows you to kind of play with time and say, actually, yeah, in that time, it's been really important and it's grown. And it turns out that there are 2 big factions of cats who have taken off in ships to go and find Cloister and find out what colour the hats are supposed to be at this bar that he's going to open at Fushal, right? And the punchline at the end of the episode is Lister's like, well, that's really stupid because they weren't going to be either of those colours.
Boom.
Right. But then, like, it's a recurring theme. So, again, spoilers. Rimmer's parents were Hoppists because their Bible contained a spelling mistake. And the first passage out of 1 Corinthians ends with the quote, "The greatest of these is hop."
Rather than hope.
Right.
Rather than hope.
In another later episode, they meet somebody who could quite easily be conceived to be Jesus Christ. Because they're in an era appropriate representation of contemporary Rome and Jerusalem. There's whole sections. The last TV movie is a whole thing about politics within the remaining cat empire, about how they do things, and eventually what they realise is the priests realise that Cloister the Stupid was not a worthwhile goal, but actually they end up worshipping Rimmer, which is just beautiful. But just exploring those ideas. I mean, bear in mind, this is 1988 it went on air. In the 90s, BBC censors were absolutely on point. Red Dwarf had to invent their own swear words. They had to invent new vocabulary to describe things that were copyrighted in other franchises. So bazookoids as weapons, you don't find anywhere else. Red Dwarf invented those. The insults, Gimboid and Goit and Smeghead, are all originals from Red Dwarf that would get past censors. They invent the dollar pound, which is a unit of currency, which kind of
Nice.
yeah, but in one compound word gives you the whole history of globalization. You know what I mean? It's like they're very, very clever ideas. And then kind of they nothing was off limits. They could explore everything: time travel, mirror universes, meeting yourself coming back the other way. Holly turns from male to female. right? So it's not an openly exploration of trans identity. This is the early 90s. But it doesn't draw any comment. There's nobody losing their rag in the Daily Mail about this because it's just some sitcom set in space on BBC Two. Do you know what I mean? It's massive exploration of identity and what it means to be a crew and what it means to be friends and that sort of stuff. And what's best is, I don't think they thought this was what it was for. I think they were just continually writing good observational sitcom.
Yeah. I think for me as well, and because I've been reflecting on it a bit since we said we were going to do this, is that I think that it talks about the human condition, about kind of ambition, about kind of hope, about what do you do if you find out that you're the last person in the universe, and where do your goals suddenly lie, and then especially putting yourself in contrast to somebody who's all about forms, all about kind of rank and order and administration, and also kind of the neuroses of kind of family expectation, compared to someone who's just going to go, I'm just going to enjoy a vindaloo, whether that's on my breakfast or lunch or tea. I just find that really fascinating, and dare I say, there's something there about kind of class, about the working class, and just kind of genuinely just enjoying life or whatever is thrown at them.
There's something about being human as well, I think, because the way that he chooses to be a human, because he's so slob-like, isn't he? And Rimmer is not able to experience life in the same way. So he is constantly frustrated, isn't he, by how he gets being human wrong. He's doing it wrong. It's not just about protocol, it's also about the experience that he has, which he's looking at, and it's really precious, this life thing, it's really precious to him, but he's doing it wrong, like he's getting it wrong constantly, and his dirty pants are everywhere study.
So Lister's obviously the slob, which is fine. I'll come back to this, I will, but in an interesting twist of fate, he's his own dad.
I remember that.
But Rimmer is just is a study in frustration and expectation and not being able to achieve. And then later on, you meet Ace Rimmer, who is an alternative version of the Rimmer character, who is an intergalactic test pilot and is traveling interdimensionally to do the kind of on an exploration thing. And everybody fancies Ace Rimmer. Smoke Me and Kipper, which is my subtitle here, is a quote from Ace Rimmer. Everybody who meets him is like, what a guy. Right.
What a guy.
What's the difference between the two Rimmers? Where's the separation? Where's the trousers of time forked for them? It's Ace Rimmer was held back a year in school. Arnold Rimmer, who doesn't understand why his alternate seems to have everything on a plate, was never held back, and so was never challenged, and so was never woken up to how much he'd got to work. Ace Rimmer was held back and put through trial, and therefore came through it harder. And yeah, sure, their lives have gone very, very different paths. But this whole idea, so time travel and paradox, whereas Star Trek is kind of, we might going to be really careful about this, right? Because we do anything here, it's all going to affect the future. Star Wars doesn't allow time travel, not really. You get things like time travel series, which is fine, great, no worries. But Red Dwarf just plays silly whatsits with it. Lister is his own dad. Lister is in fact responsible for placing baby Lister in a box underneath the pool table where he knows he will eventually be discovered.
Just going to bring out the actual spoiler spanner again.
Yeah.
You're really interested in the series. I mean, it doesn't affect too much.
It's kind of like all that grandfather paradox. What if you go back and shoot your own granddad? Do you exist anymore? The whole Back to the Future stuff. Red Dwarf, like, nah, it's not a problem. We're just going to write games based on this.
It's answering different questions, isn't it? And I think it's in that very rooted in British. I thought when you described it as a quintessential British comedy, I think to me that resonates as true, that it's sitting on the shoulders of some British comedic giants, isn't it? Very much so. And it's just not bothered about canon. It's not bothered about answering questions to do with parallels or alternative timelines.
But I think I think at the same time you had The Simpsons, where again they would always return back to the status quo of that you could
like
you could have
reset.
what yeah at the end of every episode you'd pretty much there would be occasional episodes of Red Dwarf when they would be impacted or as like almost a two-parter, but that would usually be the end of one series and the beginning of another. But then other than that,
each episode stands as you could watch any episode and you'd understand it because it's contained, isn't it, and stands it on its own.
And of course, you've got to remember that when it came out, well, I mean, it started in the late 80s, it was prevalent in the early 90s, but then there was a gap. You know, one of the actors was busy doing the British Empire, and one of the others was busy in prison waiting trial. And then he was acquitted, and Robert Llewellyn came out of. Is it Robert? No, it's not Robert Llewellyn.
He's Crichton.
Crichton, yes. He came out of. Yes, it is British Empire. He came out and was available for some stuff, and they just recorded quickly.
Oh, no, that's Chris Barry from British.
Sorry,
Empire.
Chris Barry, of course. Chris Barry
Robert Llewellyn was
Crichton.
Scrap Heap Challenge.
That's Scrap Heap Challenge. That's right. So and kind of they put together a season because they could, and they recorded it quickly, and they got it out there. By 2000, you've got like, was it 1998, the 10th anniversary? They put out some stuff, and like the last seasons, like I said, were sponsored by Dave in I think 2009, and the most recent was the TV movie in 2020. It's been hauled together as it can. It's clearly a stick and string project of absolute devotion and love. You know, and I would be the first to admit that some of the episodes do feel like they've kind of, but then, I mean, again, compare it favorably with other sci-fi. Everybody can name a Star Trek episode that looks like a retcon or a retrospective with clips of, you know, character development, or it's a two-hander in a limited space because they haven't got the budget to shoot a full episode, or, you know, there's kind of those holding position episodes in anything. I'm not going to talk about Star Wars Episode 1, but you know, there's throwaway bits of any franchise.
That's said an awful lot in very few words.
I know, I kind of want you to say it. Also, it made me instantly think of the Voyager episode, which is one of my favourites, where Janeway gets marooned on a planet because they can't leave because they'll only survive on the planet. Do you remember it? Her and Chakotay can only survive on that. I love that episode. She has a bath built. He builds her a bath. It's one of the most romantic things that ever happens. Yes, absolutely. So there's not a sense of overarching story. There's not a narrative that, I mean, there are principles which I think carry through to later seasons, but there's not a sense of they knew where they were going to go with this. Really, it's more about the exploration of the human relationships that are or non-human relationships that are happening in that quite controlled atmosphere of space travel.
I think very much like Firefly, it's about the money. If the money was there, they could make more, but if there's no money, you can't make any.
It's interesting. I wonder why it didn't get funded more. I wonder what it was that, because it was so. It's become cult popular, hasn't it? Like
I think it's become cult popular. I think it kind of, dare I say, I felt as if it kind of ran its course because there's so many other. I think we started going out more on a Friday evening. Generations were doing the thing.
It was us.
We did it. Because when it first started, it was like a Friday night thing with Blackadder, with kind of
Blackadder.
You know, do you know what I mean? It was alongside kind of really iconic kind of sitcoms.
100%.
So, really good bit of trivia from the first season. A guy called Gareth Gwenlyn refused Red Dwarf when it was presented to him. He was the BBC head of comedy at the time. And in revenge, in season 1, Gwenlyn is one of their invented swear words.
Brilliant. That's excellent. Love that.
and
a good way to get revenge.
That's what I love about it. It's one of the things I really love about it is that it doesn't take itself seriously at all. In the Back to Earth episodes, which I think were a bank holiday thing, I think it was one of the Dave ones, they're driving around Manchester, I think, in a car that's kitted out like Starbuck. But it's kitted out like Starbuck, but it's actually a contemporary car. This contemporary thing. Another one, they go back in time and they they accidentally tip the guy who's trying to assassinate President Kennedy out of the window of the book depository.
Ticket to Ride.
Ticket to Ride. And then the only solution is to perform a kind of paradox which would genuinely not be allowed in other series. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is one of my most favourite episodes of Red Dwarf. Really.
Absolutely.
I love the one where they're pretending to be potato people, and they have to talk, and actually the camera zooms back and you see they've just put because I feel like you never
Crichton's
forget
eyes
the
on their
shape
chins.
that like you never forget the shape that their lips make in that moment. And there are some iconic moments, right, that go down in history from this series. There's some proper iconic, very funny moments.
And so my child turned up to primary school able to recite the "They're all dead, Dave" speech from the very first episode, right?
They're all dead, Dave. That's so funny.
And it's just it's brilliant for that, because ostensibly there's nothing offensive about it, but it's very wrong.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's just that the wrong side of what you can do and live with and be acceptable. But at the same time, there's nothing there to be censored.
No, because it's true. According to that framework, it's entirely true. But then it's also hilarious about the things that he chooses to care about. And it's so telling of his character. The stuff that he lists, it's like geniusly,
I do
very
find
funny.
it's interesting, because I have looked back on it and I thought, what age can I show this to my kids? And I'm not going to go in. Some of it is about sex, but at the same time, just as the same way that the rest of the crew have died, they're going to go in, but he's a bloke in his mid-whatevers going through on his own. Of course, sex is going to figure into this. Whereas if you kind of look to things like Friends and rewatch Friends, and you're going to go, gosh, this was so sexualized.
Very much so.
And it's a bit of a shock almost.
And homophobic.
Whereas this, it feels as if it's done it in a more balanced way. I'm still not going to show it to my kids for a few years, I don't think. But I think it's a bit more balanced and kind of, again, reflects that human condition. And yet the humour and just that kind of, the way that the characters play off each other, the way that they kind of, come across yet another wreckage. And of course, there's going to be some sort of MacGuffin that's going to kind of lead to another adventure. But it's all going to resolve again within the next 28 minutes.
So it should be noted that this was recorded in the late 80s and early 90s, and some of the dialogue does reflect cultural norms of the time. But never too heavily. It's never meant with malice. There's never any kind of suggestion that there's something good and evil about some of the things that are said on screen. And when you think about it, then obviously Craig Charles turns out allegedly to have been doing naughty things, allegedly, and there's duly been scrutinised for it. But actually, I think Red Dwarf itself still stands. It's not been scuppered by those kinds of things. In the same way that, for example, Good Omens. I've already quietly made the decision I might skip Good Omens. Not necessarily because I think it's tainted, but because I don't think that it's going to be everything it could have been had it not been. Do you know what I mean? Or I might just put it on the back burner and come back to it when I feel like a suitable amount of time has passed and I'm not as upset at the whole Gaiman thing. Yes, I don't know.
It'd be interesting.
So it does stand the test of time then, Red Dwarf, which is also, because for me it's evocative of being allowed to stay up an extra half hour than I normally would be with a hot chocolate. So for me, it was my dad. My dad was like, okay, I know it's bedtime, but you're allowed to stay up and watch this. And me, my dad, and my brother would sit and watch it together and, sing along to the theme tune and laugh along to the jokes, some of which I definitely didn't understand at the time. So it's got a soft, kind place in my heart. It's good. It's good that it stands the test of time.
We need to mention the music, because I think that the very first series, especially with that kind of orchestral kind of, it's Howard Goodall who composed the music, and
Howard
just having
Goodall
that kind of
proper composer, like
Yeah.
musical theatre genius, wrote extensively for a variety of different settings and locations, and also prolific BBC composer.
Yeah.
So
Just proper
again,
talent then, right? Just a
Well,
huge
okay,
amount
so-
of talent behind the scenes.
here's the thing, right? They've always felt that they were slightly out of it. They were actually produced by Manchester rather than London. It was done at Shepperton, but the team managing the thing, they won an international Emmy for one of their
Oh
episodes.
wow!
And,
Which one?
I can't remember offhand. It is
Go
in
to-
the
occasionally that.
Wikipedia article, I'm sure. But the point is, they were then not able to go and attend an after party because the BBC felt they weren't really, or at least they were. But the amount of talent available to them, and clearly they'd made enough connections, and they were nice to the right people, and you get the, like the score, it's just genius.
Yeah.
But just-
Also
just
grows
as
on you
context-
then. It's the sort of thing that the more you live with it, the more you learn to appreciate it. Like
Well,
it
I was going
grows
to
on
say,
you.
because for me, it was one of the first bits I learned to play on the piano.
Very cool.
The soundtrack, but also it's just very evocative of that kind of like that, just that kind of those kind of first kind of chords and just that kind of it just kind of puts you.
Yes, but then also as the episode progresses becomes a bit more sinister, right? It's got that kind of a little bit more kind of dark, sort of sinister things about to happen that is which I
That very
love.
first series, especially when you've just got the kind of Lister painting, I think it's Lister, is it? Painting just the outside of the ship. And it's just like it is just that bleak spaceness feel. And and I do get what you mean, that as soon as you know more of the story, like, gosh, that music does kind of evolve that kind of like you're out in space on your own, as the
absolutely.
I'm aware of time, and I feel as if we could do
Awesome.
lots more talking about this. I
I immediately want to go and watch it again. That's what it's made me do. I want to go straight away and watch it.
I have watched 2 episodes this afternoon already, because it's like
Back to it now.
Well, because they're all on, for those who are in the UK, they're all on the BBC iPlayer.
Fantastic.
They've all been collected, and I also came across an episode that I'd not watched before because it was some of this kind of later stuff. So I think it was kind of series 10. So that was really fun. And what I will say is, though, a little bit of trivia. Do you know who auditioned to play Rimmer? Who didn't get it?
Yes, and I can't remember what their name is.
Alan Rickman.
No.
Yes.
No.
Had gone for it.
Totally.
And it's just
Why
like,
did they cast Alan Rickman? That's bonkers.
I just don't think it would have worked as well.
How could
it didn't work for
I know,
timing.
but how could he possibly? Yeah, but it's Alan Rickman. I mean, come on. He could just,
But we need to give a shout out to Chris Barry, because basically he was on the Spitting Image stuff, and he does some of the audio tapes where he actually caricatures Cat, Crichton, and kind of and Lister, and just mimics them fantastically well.
Very cool.
And so it is very
cool.
good. I'm aware of time,
Nice.
so we're going to come on to our geeky gallery. But thank you, Andy, for coming on and sharing.
Thanks so much,
I feel as
It's been a
Andy.
privilege. Thank you.
I feel as if there's at least a part 2 in that, but you've got other interests and geekiness as well, so we can come
Yeah,
on to that
too
as
much
well.
passion. Too much passion.
I will just say at this point to remind us all about our Discord and places where you can share things and bits and pieces. This is taken from our geeky gallery. This is first of all from Mendip. This is Tom, and this is his finished stealth suits with added detail of the green mossy stuff. And
Very
he was also
cool.
playing it with his stealth suits, which I don't think he won very well, but it was all part of the experience and part of the game. I'm going to show this for parents, or for some parents. This week is going to be World Book Day, my local school has got tons of stuff going on, including you kind of come dressed as your kind of favourite character, as well as a book in a box. So and the thing is that my oldest, because he's seen me dressed as cosplay as Death, my son's there kind of going, well, I can do that as well, can't I? Because I like Amazing Morris and his educated rodents, and Death's in that. And I was like,
he is.
Amazing.
yeah, yes, he is, mate. And he's like, well, can I go as Death then? I was like,
Amazing.
yeah, drat, I can't say no to that. So I have sorted out. And just to say full circle, because Jen, you did mention this. This is the original template of the death mask, which I then printed full size for me, and then the theatre picture from last week was another print of it. And so I sent that to them because I wanted to use our one for the Comic-Con. But this is the original one, so this comes full circle to the original mask that I printed, which is the right size for my oldest. So he's going as that, as well as we've got the Return of the King.
Intergenerational.
And so there's Gollum, who's going to go with the ring down into the volcano. Oh, that's a spoiler as well. As well as the Secret Garden as well. And then we've got Andy from last week, another Andy, but the Andy who was talking about heavy metal, sharing his 40k. And it almost looks, I don't want to kind of put my foot in it, but it kind of looks very similar to Mendip Nomads kind of people, but I'm sure they're not the same, are they? I think
they are.
Nomads are. Is it just a different painting scheme? Is that the difference?
Aren't they both? I think they're both Marines, aren't they? I might be wrong.
They're both
Sorry
Marines,
if I'm wrong.
But Andy was talking about Iron Warriors, and then Mendip was talking about Crusade Dreadnoughts. And is that just their names, or am I overseeing something? Because they look very similar, but I don't want to make that naive assumption that they are the same. But I thought I'd just mention it, and they look awesome.
Very cool. Whatever it is, it's very cool.
And then finally, just because we've done themed, it's just by chance that they're both next to each other. Purple Plushie has finished their knitting project, which looks awesome. And Fluffy Zubat has also been crocheting for the first time as well. So those are
that jumper is
awesome,
beautiful and very intricate. That is
level of detail,
expert level. That is beautiful. Yeah, I love that Fluffy Zubat is hiding the crochet that they've done, but I think underneath it looks pretty lovely.
Yeah,
just hiding it, just not.
The jumper blows my mind because I can't even get my head around how you go from one colour to the next on the same row. But that is showing my
That is beautiful. It's really good.
Noviceness. And I think that is that is everything as part of our geeky gallery.
Awesome.
Is there anything left to say or do or otherwise?
It's been so wonderful. Thank you so much, Andy, for coming and sharing with us that passion and helping us to think a bit more deeply about that awesome show, which I think for a number of us is probably part of our childhood or adolescence. So bit of a flashback, but also an opportunity to share together in those things that make things important to us, like that sense of the outsiders in the creative world, and they're coming in and making something brilliant and gathering talent together. Why would you say no to Alan Rickman? But okay, whatever. Gathering amazing talent together and creating something that is funny and accessible, really British, like rooted in British comedy and experience of what it means to be a human. So many themes that we love to kind of bring together at Faith and Geekery, and exploring all of that in safety so that we can even talk about our faith and make fun and prod in gentle ways so that we all learn and discover together. Awesome. Thank you so much. Just totally awesome.
I think for me, one of the things about this, but not just this, is the strength of narrative. It's funny because you can see yourself. It's funny because you can see other people that you know. You can, like you said, Jen, it's the human condition laid out. And like any other parable, finding yourself in the story is kind of one of the keys to investing in it in the first place. And Red Dwarf is a brilliant example of that.
It's a really kind of fruitful, fertile ground for locating what would you do in this situation, and what does that teach you about what it means to be a person and to be a person in relationship with other people and other beings. Totally brilliant. Thank you so much, and thank you, Mark. Even though you're super croaky, you got through it.
I did indeed. Well, thank you, folks. We're going to wrap it up. And I hope you can geek safe and enjoy a little bit of Red Dwarf watching if you're old enough and you can find it all in the right place. So geek safe, folks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.